Are you ready for fan-driven Razorback talk? For the fans, by the fans. This is Inside the Hawg Pen with your hosts, Razorback Zach and Marcus MC Carlton. What's up, everybody? Welcome to an all-new edition of Inside the Hawg Pen. I am, of course, your host from the Central Arkansas Hawg Pen, none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Razorback Zach. That's a little pushing it, but you know what? I like it. My man to the left, to the right of you, whichever direction you're facing at the current moment, is my buddy, my co-host, and like I say every show, the glue that holds the whole damn thing together, Marcus MC Carlton. What's up, MC?
Yeah.
Back
for another week, man. We're on the downhill slide to the weekend, and we're that much closer to game number one.
Man, I'm telling you, we've got NFL preseason this week, so that kind of wets your taste buds a little bit if you're into that sort of thing.
That's kind of the chips and salsa of football being the main course.
I watched the Hall of Fame game last week.
Man, I tried.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. It was football. It was on TV in the background.
Right.
Enough said. But got a lot of things covered this week. It is week 2 of the preseason, and we are jumping straight into the offense. We are jumping into the offensive side of the ball with the Arkansas Razorbacks. If you want to get in on the action, you got a question or comment, leave it for us in the Harris Made Chef Services live fan feedback. We are broadcasting on the all-new Sideline Radio Network. I'm not going to make the same mistake I did last week. We all know it. I'm not even going to repeat it. Go on.
Hey, it happens, man. It happens.
Radio Network. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and follow the YouTube channel. We've got all new stuff coming out, not just me, but we've got Man Cave. We've got NBA shows. We've got an SEC show. We even have, for the wrestling fans, a WWE/AEW show in the works. Oh. So we're going to be bringing back some familiar faces for it. I don't know.
Yeah. We're going to have to get a sounder for that, man. I mean, it's like, instead of a...
Don't tempt me with a good time because I'll do it. I will do it. Hey, we've already got fans in the Harris Made Chef Services live fan feedback. Brad Staten says, Woo Pig Suey from Colorado Springs. But shout out to Brad for chasing one of his first tornadoes up in Colorado. So I saw a picture of it on Facebook. And nice. And apparently... Crazy Child says, hi, Dad.
Is that your daughter or is that my daughter?
That's all you.
That's me?
That's all you.
All right.
Unless I don't know. I don't know if that's me or your kid. I don't know. I didn't even know she had a YouTube page.
Because I know it's not my boys because my boys are busy right now, but my daughter's downstairs and it would be like her to kind of troll me in that way. So,
well, somebody's trolling one of us. And then, of course, our number one fan, little ass kicker. She kicked Cancer's ass, and I will continue to say this until I'm dead and gone. But Casey Sutton's in the house. She says, hi, guys. What's up, Casey? And then my girl Katie's here. Oh, Lord. The boss is watching MC. I got to be on my best behavior. Maybe not. But Brady Burke's back with us this week. And he says, really impressed with the new staff in the receiver and the receiver room. We're going to jump into that too, Brady, so stay tuned for it. And then my buddy Kevin Edwards says, glad I was able to catch my favorite sports talk show. Come on, Kevin. Come on, man. You must be watching ESPN or something. I don't know. And then Josh Wilbanks says, what's up, my main man, MC? Oh, yes, you too, Zach.
Already starting, man, right out the gate.
What am I, chopped liver? Nobody answered that. Nobody answered that. And then, hey, big shout out to Richard Wright. Welcome back to the show, my man. He says, I can't freaking wait for first kick. Dude, you and me both. I swear. Yeah. I'm like, so I kind of equate Razorback football, and Katie's going to kill me for mentioning this, but I kind of equate Razorback football to going to Disney World. You're going to see me run around like screaming my head off, acting like a complete fool. So, Richard Wright, I 100% agree with you. All right. So, let's get a little business out of the way first. Listen, I got a couple of notes for you. But listen, did you know, Razorback edition? Listen, did you know that Arkansas had a team high 65 carries against South Carolina last year? MC, can you tell me what team did we play that had the most rushing yards?
When Arkansas had the most rushing
Arkansas had the most rushing yards. And the guy, your fans, y'all get in this too, because I will give you the paper crown of knowledge if you get this right. We don't have anything.
Paper crown. I like that, the paper crown of knowledge. Does it look like those little Burger King crowns?
Hey, don't do it all the time.
Hey,
I'll tell you what, if you get this question right, you can have a boost. Oh, Lord. We're in trouble when MC has an idea.
Okay, so to answer your question,
Katie says Alabama. Good guess, but that is correct.
I don't think it's that one. I think I know, but I don't want to ruin it for our fans. I'll let them guess, and then I'll come back at the end of the show.
All right.
After I've been done.
So, a lot of things kind of are a lot different this year, as far as this offense, and we wanted to see. My biggest thing is when Danny Nose was hired. Oh my goodness, it's my daughter. Oh.
Okay, all right.
Kiddo. This
had to clarify.
This is a first. My daughter's never actually watched the show live, and now that she's watching it, what's up, kiddo? That is fitting, by the way. She is a crazy child. But no, a lot of things are different. One of the things you're going to find different, and we're going to jump into this later, is the development of the quarterback of QB1 and QB2, and even if you really want to get technical with it, QB3. Okay. Yeah. But another thing, listen, did you know that Arkansas has 2 team highs from last season in touchdown rushes? Can anybody name those 2 teams? I'll give you a hint. One of them is out of conference. One of them is in conference. One of them is out of conference. And the total is 5 apiece. So we got some guesses here. Like I said, Katie says Alabama. Garrett Ray says Vanderbilt. Did we play Vanderbilt last year?
No. I'm looking at the schedule here.
I didn't think so.
No.
And then Joshua Banks says LSU. Good guesses, but those are all incorrect. The correct answer is Kansas. 396 total rushing yards against Kansas.
That's a lot.
You're good. Hey, Garrett Ray. Good. Hey, no problem there, dude.
There is no bad anywhere, man.
There is no bad anywhere, dude. Hey, trust me. If you're brand new to this show, you'll know very quickly. I'm 99% wrong half the time. All right.
That's some Scott Steiner math right there.
See if anybody else picked up on that.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you've got a couple of things. And MC, do you have by chance the season stats for last year as far as from the team?
Yeah. What would you like to see?
So what was our total?
Okay, let me get
with Twinkle Toes running our offense last year.
Twinkle Toes, Razzle Dazzle,
whatever. Sparkle.
Oh God, Sparkle.
I had to go there. But one of the things. Let me change this over here real quick. One of the things that I want to see is we have heard year after year how great of a quarterback KJ is. Now, he's not bad, okay? I'm not saying that he's bad, so nobody go be like, "Oh, you're calling him a bad quarterback." No. What I'm saying is we've heard he's got Heisman potential. We've heard that he's got all of these dynamics and he's got all of these abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But he's always been stymied. I mean, he was stymied with I guess he really didn't play with Morris. That's probably one of the best things Morris did was recruit him, though.
He played I remember one game when Mississippi State was just beating the brakes off of Arkansas.
I'm not gonna talk about that.
At Fayetteville, I guess it was 19.
Yeah.
got in that game, immediately drove down the field, led a scoring drive. But after that, I mean, there wasn't much there. But that was in the point in the year where, the 4-game redshirt rule was already in place. So, I mean, he was inside 4 games and still had
But I
redshirt.
mean, and we've waited year after year after year, and I honestly believe, and if Trevor Kaiser is watching,
Mhm.
I took a sip, just a sip of the Kool-Aid. All right, I didn't take a big gulp like I did last year because we all know what happened. But I mean, from an offensive standpoint, what are some of the biggest things that we're looking for this year that's kind of different than what we've had in the past?
I've got the stats for the season stats from last year pulled up, courtesy of NCAA. So these are the legit stats. And just looking down here, the first thing that jumps out at me is third down conversion percentage. You want to take a guess?
19%.
It's a little bit higher than that. 46%. Now I don't know what the magic number is, but if you were to go and compare this to, say, LSU or let's take Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a fair comparison.
All right.
I would be willing to guess that their third down conversion was a lot higher than 46%.
Yeah, I can believe that. I mean, 50, if you want to, for me as a fan, 50-50.
Yeah.
You want to have at least 50% on third down.
I mean, I would like to see 60, and I don't think that's out of the question.
But when you go into the season not knowing what this team's going to do and what this team looks like, because we really don't. Yeah, we saw. Yeah, we saw spring ball. Yeah, we see video of that the Razorbacks put out on social media.
Mm-hmm.
But we really, honestly, don't know the strengths of this team on the offensive side of the ball. So,
yeah,
I would be cautiously optimistic if we hit that 60% mark.
Well, and I'm looking here, other numbers, trying to see if anything else on the offensive side of the ball jumps out at me. That's the biggest glaring red flag that I see is the 46% fourth down conversions. And I didn't realize this, but apparently we went for it on fourth down 20 times last year. That seems like a lot on fourth down. And so the percentage,
but see, that sounds about right.
So Arkansas was 9 out of 20 on fourth down. That's 45%. Okay, if you want your third down conversion to be a lot higher than your fourth down conversion on the percentage point, I would think, because you've got 20 fourth down conversion attempts. You've got 194 on third down, but there's 1 percentage point difference.
I'm
seems like to me that you would want it,
Yeah, but here's the thing: as I'm as critical as I am about KB, okay.
Mm-hmm.
For all intents and purposes, if you look at where we ranked, because I was doing research before the show, I've been doing research most of the afternoon, getting ready for tonight, and honestly, our issue was on the defensive side of the ball. Now we're not jumping into the defensive side, but for being such a dynamic team on defense, we were dead last in passing yards. We were 123rd out of 130 on total defense.
On total, yeah.
Well,
and I'm looking here,
we're dead last in the SEC. But I mean, we'll get into that next week.
Yeah. 6,100 total yards of offense.
Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty solid.
That's
for the season.
Yeah, considering how bad we looked on offense. Let's jump over here to the Harris Mid Chef Services live fan feedback. Garrett Ray chimes in against it. So would Arkansas and A&M play in each other's stadiums instead of Arlington, since Texas and Oklahoma are joining?
Next year? Is that the last year? Next year?
That's next year. Next year's last year. I would say yes. However, I think they're going to leave Texas and Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl where it's at, and I think they're going to put Texas A&M in Dallas. I think that's where you're going to do it.
That. I could see the Texas A&M game being played at Jerry World.
I can see that too. Jonathan Parker chimes in and says, hopefully we don't throw it short of the first down on third downs.
That is a pet peeve. Okay, the throwing it behind the line of scrimmage on third down, that's one of those that just makes me want to break stuff. You know, I try to keep the remote out of reach at certain times.
Yep.
Because if I didn't, I was going to have to buy a new remote. And there were times that we would do that. Or running a reverse on third and one.
Why are we running a reverse on 3rd and 1? And that's the thing is when I would watch games at Boudreaux's last year, I nearly got myself kicked out. And Chef James Harris can attest to this. There were times last season where we were in Boudreaux's and I got people looking at me. I look like Hayden Panettiere on the bleachers from Remember the Titans.
Yes.
So
right, I gotta throw a comment up here because Brad's got a really good question, and I'm gonna look at this real quick. Right. Brad Staten's asking, he's like, how was our balance run versus pass last year? So as we continue to talk about this, you're gonna see me glancing over to the side. I got a second monitor over here. So our rushing attempts on the year were 605, and let's see, passing attempts.
While he's looking that up, we are trying to get to everybody's comment. I don't want anybody to feel ignored. We have had an influx of new fans. And by the way, if you are a brand new fan, thank you for joining us. But MC, I almost screwed up, and I forgot to mention one piece of business.
Okay.
Guys, if you have not yet, they are pushing for 20,000 fans.
Yes.
Got to go over and check out Adam Hall, Matt Hart over at Hawg Sports on Facebook. HOG Sports on Facebook. They are good friends of the show. They pump our stuff out every week. Go check them out. Help them to get to 20,000 fans. And who knows? The 20,000 fan of Hawg Sports might actually get some free swag from yours truly.
Okay, so I found the numbers. Rushing attempts on the season, 605 for an average of 5 yards per rush. Pretty solid. Passing attempts on the year, 357. Average yard per pass is 8.5. Average yard per catch is 13.2. So that's.
I would have thought that was a little bit lower.
Yeah. I would have thought it was closer to the 8.5 number.
Richard Wright over on the Harris Made Chef Services live fan feedback says secondary defense will be big. Yes, we are going to get into that next week when we talk about the defensive side of the ball. But Richard Wright, you are absolutely correct. Garrett Race is agreeing with all of us and says we've got to do better on third down.
Yes, 100%.
My buddy Marty, who, by the way, is a brand new father in just a few weeks. Him and Ashley are having a little girl, so I'm going to have the niece.
Congrats.
He says it's no longer drinking the Kool-Aid. He made a typo, so I'm gonna put this one up. So it'll no longer be called drinking the Kool-Aid. It is now being hit with the alien mind meld. But my daughter is also and has got her and her friends in here now hanging out with us.
We got to be on our best behavior tonight, dude.
Well, we got our sponsor in the house tonight, Chef James Harris of Harris Made Chef Services. Good evening, Hawg fans. What's up, Gunny? Brady Burke says, and the red zone. We have got to do better in the red zone. Richard Wright also says, I hear we have positive in that receiver position. What say y'all? We need it. So I was looking at the roster because they don't have the depth chart released yet.
Right.
I'm going to give you guys one name to keep an eye on.
Okay.
Can you tell me who that name is, MC? Because it might be the same one you're thinking of.
On the roster?
At the wide receiver position, yeah.
Oh, at the wide receiver. Oh, you know what? I am so unfamiliar with all the new wide receivers. I don't know that I could name one right now.
Isaac Satania.
Oh, Satania. Yeah, from last year.
Yep. Jonathan Parker once again says, Sam said he made a mistake going for so much on fourth down last year. There's a lot of things. And I promise we're going to get deeper into the offense. But there's a lot of things that Sam came out and said after the season last year, immediately following. I say immediately following, but following the bowl game, that he said he learned from, that he should have done better, or that he didn't do the right way.
Right.
One of the comments that he made is he's not so much concerned about being their friend now.
I found that interesting because that kind of leads me to believe that maybe he's seeing some of the same things that we're seeing, and I was surprised he went public with that, honestly.
Yeah, but that just goes to show you the transparency of this head coach. I mean, again, you guys have to remember he is only a fifth year, fourth year head coach.
20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah. So this is
his fourth year.
Fourth year.
Yeah. So he's still learning. Everybody keeps saying, well, he's got enough experience. 4 years
There's a difference in being an assistant and being the boss hog.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a difference. You look at everything differently than you do if you're an assistant. You have to look at the overall big picture rather than just your area.
I spoke his name and he appeared. Trevor Kaiser says, I'm here. I'm late, but I'm here.
Hey, better late than never, my man.
Garrett Ray chiming in. Garrett's got some good questions going. He says, do you think we have a competitive chance against Alabama playing them early in the season?
I don't know. I mean, you're going on. I think this is the longest active losing streak to one team in the SEC, because if you remember last year, year before, Kentucky finally beat Florida, and that one was like 27, 28 years.
Yeah, this is the longest one, and I think it's closing in on.
It's closing in on 20. 2006 was the last time that Arkansas beat Alabama.
Yeah,
so you're talking D-Mac, Marcus Monk, Mitch Mustaine, all that crew.
That was prior to Nick Saban taking the job, by the way.
Yes, yeah. Mike Shula was still there.
My good old Mike Shula. And what was the kicker's name? Lee
Tiffin.
Lee Tiffin couldn't hit the broadside of a barn to save his life.
Yeah, he kind of fell on hard times. Like I heard that he tried to commit suicide after.
Oh, you stole my joke!
He couldn't kick the chair out from underneath his own feet.
You stole my joke. I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
it's not fair.
It's not.
It's just not fair.
It kind of is. I'm evil that way sometimes.
So, Trevor's right. I get people looking at us when I'm at baseball games at Bomb. So, I mean.
I'm kind of glad there's not going to be a camera on me when I'm at Dallas and Oxford this year, because you've never seen game day MC, like on location game day MC, because I can get a little wound up.
That's going to be a fun one. Brad Staten says not a great balance last year. Then maybe something to look forward to this year. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's okay. So I scrolled down to the second page. Here's another one that kind of jumps out at me. Red zone touchdowns. 39 touchdowns in 59 red zone appearances. 66%.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't think it was that. Okay, that's red zone touchdown. Red zone scores, including field goals, is 49 of 59, so 83%. 83% of the time in the red zone, we scored. Now, if you go back and look at that fourth down number, 20 fourth down attempts, when you've got the guy like Cam Little standing on the sideline, I say take the 3. That dude's almost automatic.
And see, that's what 99.999% of people will tell you. Take the 3 points. If you can get the 3, the kid just nailed. And I say kid because, yes, he's about 10 years
he's a kid.
He's about 10, 15 years younger than me. This kid just
nailed
a 60-yarder. This kid just nailed a 60-yarder in practice the other day.
Yep.
Okay. Back on the Harris Smith Chef Services live fan feedback. Oops, sorry, I didn't see offense. Richard, hey, man, we're just glad to have you part of the show. It's all good.
You're just planning ahead, Richard. That's all it is.
He's doing Notre Dame's thing like I did. Garrett Ray says, do you think we could be competitive against Alabama, possibly stay in the game and not be a blowout?
Yeah, there's always that possibility. It just, Bama has some questions, especially on offense. They've got questions as well. They've got a new offensive coordinator coming in yet again. The quarterback is undecided for them, which at this point in the year, not knowing who your quarterback is going to be at Alabama hasn't happened probably since Mike Shula. I mean, there's always a chance.
You have to, but again, with all these controversies, with all these questions surrounding Alabama, here's one thing that you have to remember: Nick Saban is pissed.
That's true.
He is going to run up the score on everybody.
Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah.
It always, but look at the trend. Look at the trend when it comes to Alabama. Every time they either miss the playoffs or they get screwed out of the playoffs or whatever, they come back the next year and blow through everybody. Lottie dottie, everybody.
A ticked off Nick Saban is not good for the rest of the league.
Trevor Kaiser chiming in and says, being their friend, go back and look at his first coach meeting with the guys and listen to what he has to say to them. That's why he came out and said what he said. Very true.
Yeah,
very true.
That's excellent point.
Very true. Jonathan Parker, Dozier is a freshman wide receiver to look out for. They're saying other sites he's been looking good. I mean, very true.
Anderson is another one that I've heard has been just catching bombs from KJ.
Chef James Harris of Harris Made Chef Services. Thoughts on the quarterback club lineup of speakers? I like it.
Solid lineup.
Solid.
Lineup.
You've got a couple of Hall of Famers. You've got two of the top female commentators, excuse me, in the game. I mean,
Peyton Manning, David Cutcliffe, Ryan. I'm a huge fan of Ryan McGee, Marty and McGee.
As soon as he renounced that, I was like, MC's gonna love this.
Well, and you had to know that because they had Marty Smith last year. I watched the live stream on that. Great, Marty did a great job. You had to know going back that McGee was going to be up this year. I mean, it was just the way it was. And then how about Tony Dorsett, man? That's a huge name coming in there. Even if he did play for the Cowboys, that's a huge name.
Hey. I mean, even the possibility of Kurt Warner, which is they announced him, but they haven't heard back yet.
Yeah, that's for the end of the year banquet. I'll tell you what, man. Baz does a wonderful job.
Baz is my dude over there, man.
Club. I mean, he kills it every year.
Garrett Ray says, "How do you feel about Arkansas and Florida? Are they ever going to come to Fayetteville?" That's
yeah. That's the big thing there. They've been here once in the last
10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
And they came up here and got their tail kicked.
Well, go ahead and say it. They got that ass stomped. It's our show. We're independent. We don't have to answer.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say that in front of your daughter, that's cool. But I'm not going to. So that
Have you heard her speak?
Fair enough.
Speaking of my 14-year-old, she says he hurts my ears when we're in the same room and watching a game. Yeah.
I get relegated upstairs because most of my bunch won't watch a game with me.
Richard Wright says you haven't mentioned running backs unless I missed it. Nope. Haven't been to one practice, but we sound very solid. We are going to get into running backs, I promise. We are just trying to get through all these comments here because you guys are fantastic. You guys look. Before we get too much into the show because we're up against a break. We are 30 minutes into the show already, MC.
Wow.
You guys, not me and MC. You guys set a record for inside the hog pen last week. Okay. Yes. Highest rated, highest engaged, highest viewed ever in the history of Inside the Hog Pen. So thank you to every single fan that tuned in last week. I've got my mojo back. I'm still rolling strong. MC's miraculously hanging with me. I haven't ran him off yet. But we are going to talk about the running backs because Rocket is destined, I'm hoping,
leading the way
to have a breakout year. Let's see. I missed a comment up here, I think. Brad Staten says, our running backs are going to be ridiculous this year, especially if we get KJ throwing early and often. He also says, our running backs are going to wear out some defenses. Teams are going to be hurting late in games. Speaking of,
I hope, yes.
Rocket Sanders, 242, 0 fat. Good luck trying. That's
creative player stuff, man. I mean, that's getting in your Xbox and doing the creative player.
And now I have both of my girls in here. She says, I've heard worse. And Katie turns around and says she has heard way worse, MC.
Hey, trust me. And that's perfectly fine, but it's not going to be from me. So,
So I'm gonna relegate this question over to you before we go to break.
Okay.
Jonathan Parker wants to know who's your starting 5 on the offensive line?
Oh man, that's good. I'm gonna have to look at the roster here because
I'm gonna go Bo Limmer for one, Mr. Squat 700 pounds.
Squat 1,000,000 pounds. Yeah.
But I'll relegate that to you, and we'll roll through these comments. Garrett Ray says, "Do you think we'll play smart for revenge against A&M?" I've said it for 2 weeks now, and MC and I have talked about it countless times. Katie and I have had many discussions about it. If Jimbo calls that game, I think we have a better chance of winning. If Bobby Chuck calls the game,
it's a little up in the air. I mean, you saw how great of a game Bobby called last year at Missouri State. He's going to have much better athletes this time.
I don't want to say it, but we might catch an L.
Well,
let's put it to you this way.
History says that there's a better chance of us catching an L in that game, no matter who's calling the plays, because we beat them one time since they joined the conference.
Here's the thing, okay? Hashtag. Here's the thing. Bobby has one thing on his mind right now, and that is kicking the crap out of Arkansas.
Yeah, probably so.
You saw it against Missouri State. He didn't just come in to take the $1.5 million that we were paying him to come down here. He wanted to.
He didn't come to paint, did he?
What am I going to do with you, dude? Oh, my goodness.
I'm rolling tonight. Yeah.
You are on one. Let me talk to you.
Too much Diet Dr. Pepper tonight.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, look, you see what I'm drinking. Water. Yeah. Trevor Kaiser, and I have to stand with Trevor, says, MC, leave my silver star alone. We are bad as it is. Don't make it worse, please. 3 interceptions in camp.
Dak out there looking like Casey Dick in training camp right now.
My head's going to explode. If he's throwing picks in camp, we're screwed.
Oh, man. This may be a fun NFL season.
Katie's dad's even throwing shade at me already. He already sent me a meme that says Cowboys have been eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong. I hate to say it. James Harris once again chimes in and says, let's all do the Chicago Super Bowl shuffle for Jim McMahon.
McMahon is on the lineup for the touchdown call.
Yeah, that was the other name I wanted to.
Yeah.
And Richard Wright, you guys have improved the show 100% with interaction. I hope I helped with my crying. Okay, so you made a very valid point, Richard, and I want to go out and publicly apologize. MC Richard left a comment on our show's preview last week that he was feeling a little bit ignored because last season we bypassed some of his comments, and so he stopped watching. I messaged him back, and I said, we are going to do 100% better at trying to catch every comment that we can. Sometimes we have duplicates, and sometimes comments are rolling in so fast that we can't catch them all. So, Richard, dude, you kept us, you held us accountable. You did not do any kind of crying. I appreciate you holding both of us accountable, my good man. So, thank you.
Sometimes those comments come at us so fast they just mess us up.
Yeah. All right, MC, we have to take a break.
Yeah,
because
we
got to bill to pay real quick. You're watching and listening to Inside the Hog Pen on the Sideline Radio Network. In just a minute. Calling all local craft beer connoisseurs. Litter Oktoberfest, benefiting the Miracle League of Arkansas, is just around the corner, and you don't want to miss this opportunity to sample some of the best craft beers from across the state. Saturday, September 23rd at War Memorial Stadium from 6 to 9 p.m. Get your tickets now. Oh, and ITHP will be broadcasting live with me, Razorback Zach, and D-Mad from the Man Cave. So stop by and say hey to the guys. Litter Oktoberfest 2023, benefiting the Miracle League of Arkansas. Saturday, September 23rd, 6 to 9 p.m. at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock. We'll see you there. back to Inside the Hog Pen on the Sideline Radio Network. Shit, I almost did it again. I got to get out of that
That's going to be a hard habit to break, man.
Well, that's going to be a hard habit to break, but I'm glad. And I'm going to take a page out of Triple H's book since we're kind of doing wrestling right now and say that glad I'm not part of that secondary pissant company anymore.
Oh, goodness.
So welcome back to Inside the Hog Pen on the Sideline Radio Network. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. So here's the biggest question that we have circled. And it kind of goes along with Dan Eno's, but will KJ finally have his breakout year? And will we see more of the backup in the non-conference games and Jacoby Criswell? Because we're assuming he's QB2. That may not be the case. We don't know.
Maybe Singleton.
Maybe Malachi
Singleton. I think is his name.
But what do you think, MC? He went out to San Diego. KJ did.
Right.
And did all these drills and everything, which you haven't seen. Now, I'm not saying he hasn't done them, but this is the first time publicly that we've seen him do these drills. I mean, What did you think when you saw that, what did you think?
Well, I think, to me, he looks like a guy that knows that this could be his money year. He's fifth-year senior. He is coming into a year where he's, I feel like he may have the mindset that he didn't perform up to his potential last year. Not that he did anything wrong, but he had some injuries. And that's one thing that nobody's really talked about. We saw several games where KJ was playing late in the fourth quarter when, really he didn't have any business still being in the game. And even though it's a blowout, even though the game is in hand, you take those extra hits here and there, that adds up over the course of the season.
Well,
and we all know that he never should have stepped foot on the field in the Liberty game.
I was just fixing to say he should have never stepped foot on the field during Liberty. But did you trust the crybaby? And yes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to criticize him to the point because I call it like I see it, and I'm taking the gloves off. I'm not personally attacking him as a kid, but
right.
Perception is the perception of somebody is your reality of them. Okay. He came off as a big crybaby, so I'm going to call him as such. Did you trust him enough to go into that game and win it? And
obviously, no, because if you look at the games that KJ missed or that he left early, they didn't go directly to Hornsby. They went to Cade Fortin, a walk-on over Hornsby.
And he actually didn't do too bad.
Hornsby's fast, okay? But as we saw, he did not develop over the course of the year like you would expect QB2 to develop. I feel like he was the same player at LSU in the middle of the season that he was against Cincinnati in game one. I don't feel like there was any development there. Whose fault is that? I think there's enough blame to go around. I don't think you can pinpoint it on Briles or Hornsby himself. I think there's enough blame to go around.
See, I don't want to defend either one of them because, and I mean that in the.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But you can blame it on KB because I'm just the facts speak for themselves.
Right.
Look at the attitude he gave off, especially during the Alabama game.
Yeah.
Okay. Crying and pouting all by himself on the sideline instead of running over to KJ going, look, this is what I'm seeing. Picking KJ's brain. Now, I get you can't pick his brain during a game, but still, you can learn from your QB1 in the middle of a game just by even being over there and listening to what he's seeing on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So I kind of contributed to both of them. All right? It's kind of a 50-50 blame. I don't think you're going to see that issue with Jacoby Criswell because not only is he a D1 quarterback, but he also got tutored under one of the greatest minds in college football in Mac Brown.
Yeah. I'm interested to see, and I hope Criswell gets some time because hopefully that means that we're blowing people out. And I would think, honestly. Let's just take this season opener in Western Carolina. If KJ plays more than one series in the third quarter, I'm going to be scratching my head going, what are we doing here?
So here's the thing: if we put up numbers like we did against Kansas,
Mhm.
against Carolina, because we're gonna blow through Western Carolina. Okay,
You hope so. Surely to goodness.
hope so. Okay, it's not a top 25 team in Cincinnati who
Right.
just the playoff.
Yeah.
Okay. If at the end of the first 15 minutes and we're up unbelievable number,
Mhm.
AJ needs to rest because that 4-game stretch is going to be the most important part of this entire schedule.
Yeah.
I don't care about any other game on the schedule than those 4 right there because that will be the make or break of this season.
Those 4 determine your season. You've got to go to, and the 4 games we're talking about start September 23rd at LSU, September 30th versus Texas A&M in Jerry World, October 7th at Ole Miss, October 14th at Alabama.
And if you guys
Those
watch
4 games, you've got to go 2-2. You've got to.
If you guys go back and watch last week, we kind of broke down the schedule towards the end of the show.
Mhm.
I said in that show that we go 2-2. I don't think we go 0-4. I don't think we go 1-3. I think we go 2-2. Your toss-up games, the 2 toss-up games, are going to be Texas A&M and Ole Miss. Okay, those could go either way.
Yeah, and man, I mean that's just a tough stretch. And then not throwing shade at what happens after that, because after you play at Alabama, you come home and you play Mississippi State. Now, by that point in the season, you're talking October 21st. So at that point in the season, we're going to know a little more about Mississippi State because there's a lot of questions with Mississippi State right now with everything they've been through. And obviously, Will Rogers is there. He's a great quarterback. I would say he's arguably one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league. But is he going to perform, put up the same kind of numbers now that, God rest his soul, Mike Leach is not there?
Are they sticking with the air raid offense?
That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't seen.
If they're sticking with the air raid offense, sorry, I'm hearing some kind of weird noise outside of my window here at the Central Arkansas Hog Pen, so I'm trying to figure out what it is. If they're sticking with the air raid offense, I think you're gonna see Will Rogers still light up the scoreboard, and have these unbelievable. I don't think you're gonna. Last year the telltale sign was if Will Rogers throws over 400 yards, Mississippi State's going to win.
Right.
Okay. I don't think you're going to see that much offense through the air this year. But I also don't
I think it'll be a little more balanced. But that's
I also don't think you're gonna see a pro style offense coming out of Mississippi State. I just don't see it.
No,
I don't see it. I mean, that's like Kentucky running a pro style offense with Will Levis. I'm just saying. Look, I call it like I see it. Going back over here to the Harris Smith Chef Services live fan feedback. Casey says, do you guys think they will let KJ call or change a play if needed? So
we touched on this a little bit last week.
I don't think you're going to see KJ as handcuffed as you did last year.
I agree.
Okay.
Yep.
What you're going to see is, and I'm hoping this is the way it plays out because this is the way. Which Allen brother was it? Was it Brandon?
Yes.
That was.
Yes.
I can't remember. I keep getting those two mixed up. Because this is the way that he handled Brandon back under Bielema. Was he called a play based on what he saw? Okay, and then he gave Brandon 3 or 4 different options to audible out of in case the defense lined up something different.
Right.
I think you're going to see that same dynamic and you're going to see that same situation now with KJ because KJ, no disrespect, no negativity toward Brandon Allen. Okay, that dude kept us in some games. All right,
100%. Yes.
KJ is a whole lot better of a mobile quarterback than Brandon was.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean,
so you're going to have a lot more options and have a lot more opportunity to audible out of some things. And I don't think you're going to see one of the problems that we've had with KJ, especially the last year and the last 2 years, is KJ was running for his life when he didn't need to be. On some, not all the time, but majority of the time when he took off running, he had to because nobody could get separation.
And that's a concern I have with all these transfers coming in. Who's going to be able to separate?
So yeah, Casey, to answer your question, now that we've done the runaround here, I do think Dan Enos will let KJ audible out of some plays or even call a play from the field. Okay.
Yes, I would agree.
I'm hoping anyway.
I would agree. I think you've pretty much nailed it. I think there will be. I don't know that KJ will have the Peyton Manning type freedom that he had to just kind of call whatever he saw. Basically be the offensive coordinator on the field. But I think there will
be the field general that he's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think there will be some parameters set around it, at least to start the season. Now, as we go along, if KJ is just absolute fire and tearing up the world, you may see the parameters get a little wider, and he get a little more freedom as far as audibles. I think one of the best guys that I remember being able to audible out of a bad play into a good play was Clint Sterner, his junior and senior year, like when Nutt took over. Joe Ferguson was his quarterback coach. Ferguson really developed his ability to, see certain things in the defense and audible out of plays that might have been okay for plays that turned into big gainers.
I did not know that Joe Ferguson was
first. Yeah, that first 98 on that first staff of Nuts. He was the quarterback coach. I mean, how awesome is that? You have a NFL great as your quarterback coach,
right? Brad Staten says, in my opinion, Hornsby was only fast. He was not a quarterback. Yeah, and I think he would have done well at either tight end or wide receiver, but he didn't want to do it. So good riddance.
He's an athlete. Hornsby is an athlete. I'm actually kind of looking to see what he does in the Sun Belt this year. He went to Texas State. I haven't looked to see if he's competing for the starting job or what, but I think he'll have more success there.
I would laugh my butt off if he ended up as backup again.
I'll have to kind of look at that before next week and see what I can find.
Poetic justice, in my opinion. Josh Luna, longtime fan and an Army brother of mine, says, "What's up, Zach? What is the record guess Texas and Oklahoma for the upcoming season?" MC, I'm gonna turn my mic down a little bit. I'm getting feedback. I don't know if I'm being too loud.
Turn mine down a little bit too. I tend to be kind of loud.
So, Luna, are you asking for Texas and Oklahoma's record or our record against Texas and Oklahoma? Need a little bit of clarification because we all know I'm not the fastest turtle in the crayon box. He also says, hopefully we actually tackle the punt returner this time instead of them running it back for a touchdown and just watching it.
Why? That's something that's not been talked about much is
not talking about it.
Special teams and what kind of, because I have read a little bit about how they're expecting to have special teams to have more of an impact as far as kickoff returns and punt returns this year. If you look last year, I think we had one punt return for a touchdown in, I believe, the Missouri State game. Bryce Stevens, I think.
Bryce Stevens, that was, hang on, I will tell you.
I believe he gave us the lead in that game. But I mean, if you think back to some of Arkansas's best teams over the past, let's go 20, 25 years.
The longest punt return of the year was actually Bryce Stevens against Missouri State.
Yeah.
82 yards.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's money. I remember, and I don't know why I'm on a Houston Nutt kick tonight, but I remember Houston Nutt saying, special teams, if you can give me a first down on kickoff returns or punt returns, give me a first down. We'll take it from there.
Let me see. Brad Staten on the Mike Leach. He says, "Did you guys see the Mike Leach special that the SEC Network was showing after he passed? It was very well done and very touching. I did see it.
Yeah,
and it was
that was good.
State is changing its offense. JP, what's it? And I'm gonna call him JP because I do that.
I get that works.
What are they changing it to? And then Trevor. So if you guys don't know, I'm gonna give a little pretense to this comment. If you guys don't know, in my spare time, I am a certified storm chaser. Me and Katie both are for the National Weather Service. And so he says, Zach, get ready, get the car ready for the Razorback Zach storm show because it's coming bad. I'm watching it, Trev. I'm watching it. I was going to text you, MC, because they said it was going to be in your area too.
Yeah, it's supposed to be moving into our area a little bit later. So I definitely have my eye on it as well.
I will definitely be keeping an eye on it. I probably won't chase that far because I do have to go to Hot Springs for work tomorrow. But I do have some buddies up there that will be chasing it. Richard Wright says, we drink beer. I don't. I will share. Look, if we do a game, MC, if we go to your neck of the woods, because Richard Wright did invite us to come up to his neck of the woods. In fact, let me throw that comment up here. See if I can find it real quick. I would love to catch a game with you guys. Have a buddy in Jonesboro or here in Paragould. Let's do it. Free food, yes. Look, I'm down for free food.
Hey, I'm down.
But I don't partake in beer, but I will drink a Dr. Pepper or a Coke, my friend.
Hey, but if you do partake in beer, you know where you need to be on September 23rd?
Hanging out with me, baby.
There you go. Little Rocktoberfest.
Garrett Ray says, do you think Arkansas could be second or third in the West with a 9-3 or 8-4, or will be fourth in the West with Alabama, behind Alabama, LSU, A&M, and then Arkansas?
Third's not out of the question.
Third's not out of the question. However, a couple things. We have to stay healthy.
Yes.
We actually have to be competitive in these games.
Mm-hmm.
And the dominoes have to fall in the right spots at the right time. Because right now, outside of Georgia, the whole conference is wide open, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree.
The West, we don't, and everybody's going, well, Alabama's the obvious choice.
I would say that this is probably the most unproven Alabama team since maybe Saban's first or second year. There are a lot of questions with Alabama, and I think a lot of the hype that they're getting right now is based on the fact of, the recruiting of all the 5 stars, which they're still getting, they're still stockpiling them, and because of Saban's reputation of being able to, basically wave his magic wand and make Alabama be at the top of the conference every single year. I mean, he's done it year after year after year.
Well,
but they have a lot to prove. I mean, this team, based on the little bit I've seen on Alabama, right, I think they have a lot to prove. I mean, they're now these guys that are finally getting their chance may step in and may hit the ground running and not look back. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, and two, obviously at the default, that's the word I was looking for. Wow, that was hard. Words are hard for me tonight. Obviously, the default pick in the West is going to be Alabama or LSU, based on how they did based on LSU's performance last year. But at the same time, there's so many unknowns everywhere in the West. Okay, everywhere in the West. Hell, Arkansas could come out, all right, and completely be a dark horse.
Yeah, I mean, it's not beyond. There's some years that it's just beyond the realm of possibility of Arkansas being that team. It's not beyond the realm of possibility. Is it a slim chance? Yes, it's a slim chance for Arkansas to be that team. But if you look at the stable of running backs, you look at KJ, you've got to have somebody step up in the wide receiver role and be that guy that can catch the pass on third down. And then something else that we have not talked about that I'm looking forward to play a huge role in the offense this year, the tight end. 2 reasons. One, when Dan Enos was here before, you had the tight end playing a major role in the offense. You think about Hunter Henry. You think about Sprinkle.
Who is our tight end? Because Blake Kearns is gone. Trey Knox is gone.
Luke Haas is a freshman that has drawn some comparisons to a young Hunter Henry. He's leading. He's probably and then Ty Washington. If you remember Ty Washington, he caught a touchdown pass in the Liberty Bowl last year against Kansas. I would say Washington and Luke Haas are the 2 that you need to watch. But something else on the staff this year, in the offseason, Pittman went and poached the tight ends coach from Stanford. And I am working on pulling up what that guy's name is. But he's had a couple of Mackey winners under his belt. Let's see. Tight ends is Morgan Turner. Morgan Turner is arguably one of the absolute best tight end coaches in the country. Had spent time at Stanford. He's got, I think, currently he has 3 of his former tight ends in the NFL right now. So between that and the increased emphasis on the tight end in the passing game, I think you could see Haas or Washington or maybe one of the other guys step forward and kind of be that weapon that we haven't really had since Hunter Henry, Jeremy Sprinkle, type in our offense.
True. Okay, so I'm not trash talking anybody, but I have to ask. Garrett Ray, what is your obsession with the A&M game, Bubba? Do you think we will be an OT?
He's tired of losing that game, man.
I get it. But I would rather beat Alabama more. But and it's not, he doesn't have any bad questions. That's the thing. But do you think we will be an OT against A&M since every year we have to play them against the A&M and the refs?
That game is kind of like the Ole Miss game. Something completely off the wall crazy happens in that game every year.
Yeah.
And I mean, an overtime game would not surprise me. As I've mentioned many times now, because I'm excited about the trip, I'm going to be there. So
we are going to be expecting live reports during pregame.
Well, and as long as I can get signal in Jerry World, which, considering who my phone provider is, you would think that I would be able to get a signal there. So we will see. I'm planning to do whatever I can in pregame for that day.
And if Katie's still watching, she might kill me for this, but I do plan on at least jumping in with you if we do a show the first couple of weeks of January while I'm down in the most magical place on earth.
Oh yeah.
But I can only. I told her I'm only going to be on for just a few minutes. I'm not going to do a full show from Disney World.
Yeah. We'll do a segment and then we'll let you get back to your fun.
Jonathan Parker says more of a pro style. They said they think running it more helps Will more.
Okay, so, he's talking about Mississippi State and their changing offense.
And then of course Brad's bringing in baseball on a Razorback show. Michael Lorenz and the Phillies just pitched a no hitter against the Nationals.
That's the Nationals. That's basically a minor league team.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell on myself. I play MLB The Show on my Xbox. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I just won the World Series with the Rangers. And I play Madden, who just won the Super Bowl with the Cowboys. Let me live vicariously through these video games, dadgummit.
Hey, speaking of video games, we have a date for the new college game.
Don't put my hopes up. I saw it.
Yeah, I know. That was what I did when I quoted the tweet. I was like, "Don't do it. Don't give me hope."
I will believe it when it gets closer.
Yeah,
when they start showing advertisements on TV for it, and we start seeing the real thing come out, I will get excited. But not till then. Garrett Ray says, "I hate losing to them. It's BS. The refs and A&M always win by bad calls by the refs." I agree. And he says, "Sorry, Garrett Ray, dude. Trust me. Don't apologize."
Hey, I get it, man. I'm with you.
Keep bringing it.
The fact that Arkansas has only beaten A&M once since they joined the conference is beyond ridiculous to me.
It is, and most people are.
I mean, it's just.
I'm trying to think of the best way to.
And it's like Arkansas invents new ways to lose that game. That's the crazy part of it is if you think about, the overtime games and how they have been lost, and then last year with not only the fumble being returned the entire length of the field to put A&M basically back in the game. Oh! Arkansas was getting ready to go up 21-3.
Squirrel moment about that game. I don't know where I heard it from. I think I heard it on the Buzz a few days ago with David Basil and Roger Scott. That we're talking about the kick that Cam Little hit off the top of the upright. It was because of the taller uprights that the NFL and the Cowboys use in the stadium.
Yep.
They're not college regulatory.
Right.
And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so if it was college, he would have made that kick. And,
correct. You know what that is? You know what that is? That's another reason why you need to play that game on each home campus rather than at a neutral site. I said what I said.
Or I don't know, have them change out the goal.
Well, I mean, they're not going to change out the goalpost for one game, but anyway, I mean, how many times have you seen a kick hit the upright and then fall in? I've never seen one hit directly on the top of the upright
cylinder.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he couldn't have set it up there any better than what he did. I mean, it's just
now there was the one. It was during the remodel of Razorback Stadium many years ago. It was against TCU. Was the kick heard around the world?
I think I vaguely.
It hit that upright so hard.
Yeah, it's
Am
I
I
want.
living? Somebody help me out. Am I living in a multiverse here? Did that actually happen, or am I like imagining that?
I vaguely remember that now.
But
that
is what that reminds me of. But all in all, from an offensive standpoint, this year should be one of the best years we've had. A lot of people are saying that KJ and Rocket are the best quarterback running back duo in the country.
And that running back room is loaded. I mean,
you've got Dominic Johnson,
right, coming off of ACL.
You've got Rashad Dubinion, who proved that he can run the ball against Kansas last year in the bowl game. And of course, you've got Rocket Sanders, who's running back, who's RB1.
Right.
You've got AJ.
And there's a freshman in there too. I am parsing the rosters right now to see if I can find that kid. Oh, you know who we're forgetting about? We're forgetting about AJ Green.
Okay, so he's the running back. I thought he was a receiver.
AJ Green is there too.
Yeah.
Let me scroll down. I've just sorted this roster, so let me get down here to the running backs.
Where did that one comment go?
Running backs: AJ Green, Rocket Sanders, Rashad Dubinion, Blake Johnson. Emmanuel Crawford is a true freshman out of Grove, Oklahoma. And then I'm sorry, I'm really gonna butcher this guy's name. Jisrael Bachert is a redshirt freshman, and then Isaiah Augustave is a true incoming freshman from Naples, Florida. Looks like he's built about like Rocket. He's 6'2", 208. So obviously he doesn't have the bulk that Rocket has, but he's also a true freshman.
Yeah.
But the running back room is loaded. You've got 4 guys that have legit in-game experience.
Richard Wright, there is your answer when it comes to the running back room. If you're still watching, my friend.
Yep.
MC, I know it's only Western Carolina coming in, but this needs to be a statement game for Arkansas.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
This needs to be, and again, everybody's gonna be like, well, it's just Western Carolina. It's just what Western Carolina. We said the same thing about it's just ULM.
It's just Liberty.
It's just Liberty. It's just North Texas. It's just Northern Colorado State.
Right.
It's just Toledo. Okay. You have with everything that Arkansas's gone through, this needs to be a statement game.
Yeah.
I don't care if we run the score up 90-0. It won't happen because Sam Pittman is a lot of things, but a disrespectful coach is not one of them.
Yeah, I mean, but it needs to be one of those scores you look at and you go, okay, kind of raise your eyebrows a little bit,
because the last 4 years, and again, not taking anything away from Sam Pittman, okay, but the last 4 years when it comes to the non-conference, I'm tired of seeing these close games.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm tired of sitting on the edge of my seat going
against teams that it shouldn't happen.
Exactly.
A close game against BYU. Okay, I can kind of get with that, but
that's a little different. But I'm talking like
Missouri State shouldn't have been as close as it
Missouri
was.
State. I'm talking about Rice. I'm talking about Would you put Cincinnati in that same?
No, because considering the situation with Cincinnati, they were coming off playoff. They were ranked in the preseason poll. That one, I have no problem with that one. But, you look at your Liberty. You look at Missouri State. You look at Western Carolina. UAPB is another one that has no reason to ever be close. But
by the way, if y'all are trying to figure out what's going on with my hair, I made a deal with Katie that I wouldn't cut my hair until we paid our Disney trip off. I'm getting to the point I'm ready to have my old haircut back because this is crazy, man. That's why you always see me wear hats.
You're gonna have that COVID hair when you couldn't get a haircut.
Right? I haven't had this much hair in 10, 12 years. Oh man. Okay, so let's get back to the Harris Made Chef Services live fan feedback. Adam Green, where y'all been? Well,
We've
Adam,
been here, man. Where you been?
well, this is our brand new season. We took some time off between the end of baseball and the start of football. Had to go through a transition period. We're on a new network now, completely independent. So we're kind of
And we just needed a break to kind of recharge batteries and everything to get ready for football season. So
shame our first game in Little
oh God, he went there.
Little Rock. I was raised down there, and I know we need to cut ties with that place.
Oh man, he went there.
I can't. This late.
I don't disagree. If you follow me on Twitter, you know where I stand on this. So
this late in the show, and shots are being fired still. Yeah.
Man, we could do a whole show on that. That may be the off week show. I'll say this.
Adam Green has officially got me speechless for the first time this season.
I'll say this because we are so close to finishing out the show. Let's see what kind of crowd shows up for this Western Carolina game at 3:00 Labor Day weekend. It's going to be hot as insert anything you want to insert here. The grease that you fry fish in, it's going to be as hot as that. So
you're right.
I mean, Adam says he made a grand entrance. Yeah, he basically kicked the door off the hinges and said, "I'm here."
Wait. This is the perfect time for that soundbite. Yeah.
Pretty much, man. Pretty much.
I'm going to do this. Anytime, and I'm going to try to get that soundbite loaded in. Anytime Adam Green makes a comment like that, I'm going to bring in LA Knight's comment. Let me talk to you. Yeah. So now Adam Green is now known as LA Knight.
Well, and he's got some backup here too because, here we go, man. Trevor Kaiser comes in. He's like, they need to redo War Memorial Stadium. Adam, if you have never played on it, that is the worst field to play on. I have not played on it, but I have been down on that surface as a member of the media covering a game, and it leaves a little to be desired.
I have not played on that field. I've walked it several times, working the Salt Bowl, working the Beer Fest. Which, by the way, your boy Razorback Zach's the MC for the Little Oktoberfest this year. So the big voice in the sky that you're going to hear will probably be me.
Nice.
So I apologize. I apologize ahead of time.
In advance, yeah.
Yeah, in advance. Let me change this banner out here. And it does. It's not my favorite.
Well,
like that.
There was a time when it served a purpose. And my opinion, obviously I'm not alone because we've seen some of the comments there. The time and the magic has passed, at least for me.
I still think if you're going to play in Little Rock, and again, we're jumping off on a tangent here, but that's how we do it here at ITHB. I still think that if you're going to play in Little Rock, it needs to be UCA or A-State or UAPB.
And see, I'm of the opinion now that you don't play there. And this is the analogy that I put on Twitter 1,000 times, and it's my go-to. It is my ace card that I'm going to lay down every time when you start talking about this. You're leaving the Ferrari in the garage, and you're driving the Geo Trekker.
Hey now. All right, you can do some mad stuff. I don't know if my 14-year-old's still watching, but you can do some mad stuff with a Geo Metro. All right.
Yeah, but I mean, okay. So all right. I'll go back further than that. I'll go to the Yugo. Remember the Yugo?
Oh my God! Oh.
So you're leaving the Ferrari in the garage,
or the Ferrari,
and you're driving the Yugo,
or the Gremlin.
Yeah, a Gremlin. Yeah, a Gremlin. That would be even better. So.
Oh man.
Anyway.
So Richard Wright says you guys are great. Just saying. Hey man, I appreciate it. Hey, by the way, since he said that, make sure you guys leave us a 5-star review, a recommendation.
Yes.
And Facebook now, since we've got so many fans, Facebook now is allowing you guys to give stars, which kind of donates a little bit of cash our way. Not much. We're not asking for it. That is completely voluntary. But if you guys want to give stars, I think they're like 99 cents a pack. And I think you get a pack of like 10, 15, 20, something like that. That just kind of helps us get a little bit more noticed on Facebook. and kind of helps the algorithm lead everybody to us.
Yep.
So make sure you guys leave a 5-star review and a recommendation, and give us stars. I don't know how the stars thing work. I told MC that we would push it. So there it is.
We'll learn on the fly like everybody else.
Right? Hey, because like I say, year in and year out, we're not here if it weren't for you guys.
Absolutely.
And MC would probably get tired of talking and listening to me talk if it was just him. Katie does that from time to time. Adam Green says LA Knight says everything about that place is terrible. Concessions are terrible. It's dangerous. Parking is terrible. Bad for recruiting. Tell the Stevens to either jump on the Fayetteville ship or sail on.
Well, I don't know that you could. I mean, I get the point behind it, but when you're throwing down the greenbacks that the Stevens have thrown back for as long as they've thrown them back, I don't know that anybody's going to tell them that.
I have one thing to say to this comment. All right. One thing and one thing only. Yeah.
That might be a good way to close her out.
Right. Well, we got one more thing. We got to take one more break.
Oh yeah.
And then we got one more thing. And I want you guys to stick around for this because MC, we're going to have our first session of MC School of Hog Hoops, and it's a doozy.
And I'll try to condense it because I know we're running a little long.
I'll almost say it's a doozy. You're listening to Inside the Hog Pen and watching Inside the Hog Pen live stream on the Sideline Sports Radio Network. Back right after this. Calling all local craft beer connoisseurs. Little Oktoberfest benefiting the Miracle League of Arkansas is just around the corner, and you don't want to miss this opportunity to sample some of the best craft beers from across the state. Saturday, September 23rd at War Memorial Stadium from 6 to 9 p.m. Get your tickets now. Oh, and ITHP will be broadcasting live with me, Razorback Zach, and D-Mad from the Man Cave. So stop by and say hey to the guys. Little Oktoberfest 2023, benefiting the Miracle League of Arkansas. Saturday, September 23rd, 6 to 9 p.m. at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock. We'll see you there. All right, welcome back to Inside the Hog Pen on the new Sideline Radio Network. See, I got it right that time, MC. I'm getting there. I'm learning. Oh, man. Final segment of the night here, and this is kind of where the show goes off the rails. Not like it hasn't all night long, but this is kind of where we take things that we've seen on Twitter, discussions that we've seen amongst Razorback fans as a whole, some news articles, things like that. The nonsensical portion of the show, if you will. And I'm going to let MC kick this off in the new MC School of Hog Hoops. We don't have your sounder yet. I'm building it. I'm trying to find one that's perfect for you. So we're just going to go with this. Bud Walton Arena, now just an arena.
Yeah, so earlier today, around lunchtime, I found an article from Arkansas Money and Politics on their Facebook page. If you get a chance to go read this, actually, it's an editorial, I guess, is the correct term, because it's an opinion piece about what could possibly happen with Bud Walton Arena. And basically, the synopsis of the article is talking about Bud Walton Arena. If you know the history of it, you know when it was built to serve one purpose: Razorback basketball. That was it. Nothing else there. The only other thing that ended up being there was U of A graduation, because it's, the biggest indoor facility on campus, and the Walmart shareholders meeting, which when a guy named Walton gives you half the money to build the arena, if he wants to have an event there, then you let him have the event there. So that was it. There were no concerts. There were no, Disney on Ice. There was no tractor pulls. Anything that you see at other arenas in the area, anything that comes to FedEx Forum or to Simmons Bank Arena in North Little Rock, or here, First National Bank Arena here in Jonesboro. Anything that you see come there that's not basketball did not happen in Bud Walton Arena. Now there's talk, along with the renovations that are coming for Bud Walton Arena. They just don't know which plan they're going to go with. There's 3 different options. It kind of lays it out a little bit in this article. Highly recommend you read this article if you are a fan of Razorback basketball. But it talks about how one of the options that's on the table is to turn Bud Walton Arena into a multi-purpose arena, which means you would see concerts, you would see, Disney on Ice or whatever, as a potential additional revenue stream. While I get that, I understand the need and the want for additional revenue streams. Man, I'm a purist when it comes to Bud Walton Arena because there's something magical about it being the basketball palace of Mid-America and knowing that there's nothing else that goes on in that arena. So I see Trevor wanting to post an article to the page. I will put this on the Inside the Hog Pen Facebook page as soon as we finish up with the show. I'll go find it and put it on there. But
let me ask you this.
I get it, but I don't like it.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, and again, I was at this concert. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I was my favorite place in the world, listening to my favorite artist in the world since I was a kid. Do you think the catalyst to this was Garth in Razorback Stadium?
I think it certainly made some people kind of look at the what if a little more realistically.
Because, like you had said, if you start having all of these other events inside of Bud Walton, it takes the magic away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's like having a weird event inside of Disney. It takes the luster away a little bit.
Well, and one of the arguments for moving in this direction, people are going to say, well, look at Rupp Arena. Rupp Arena it's a multi-purpose arena now. And it's one of the most storied places to play college basketball in the country. I don't know about Fog Allen Fieldhouse in Kansas. I don't know if it's multi-purpose or if it's strictly basketball. I'd have to look at that and see. But I mean, and maybe I'm just being a little set in my ways because this is the way it's always been, and I've always said that I hate that as a reason to continue to do something. But I really feel like that there's some magic around Bud Walton Arena and the fact that it is, kind of hallowed ground, and it's kind of looked at as one of the best on-campus facilities in the country for basketball because it's only basketball. There's nothing else there. Now, that being said, what do I think is going to happen? I think you're going to see within the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see concerts and everything else that was being talked about in this article. You're going to see that come to Bud Walton Arena. So,
hang on a second, MC. Non-sports related breaking news. If you guys are in the Central Arkansas, the North Central Arkansas, and the northwest portion of the state, you are now under a tornado watch until 3 a.m. Jonesboro, you are not in that just yet. So
probably moving this way though.
Yeah. So you guys know how I like to keep you guys updated with the storms and stuff going through. So if you guys are in that area, there's too many counties to count. And I am not paid to tell you to download this. This is just what I use. Download the KATV weather app. That will get you the most up-to-date information.
There you go.
But if you are, like I said, if you are in the Central Arkansas, that includes Pulaski County, Saline County, Perry County, Lone Oak, Faulkner, the Little Rock Metro. If you guys are in that area, if you're in North Central Arkansas, like Mountain View, Clinton, Marshall, Leslie, and in Northwest Arkansas, Fayetteville, Springdale, Bentonville, keep an eye to the sky. Go ahead and take your precautions of tornado precautions.
Charge your phone up, y'all.
Put your shoes by the bed. Make sure you guys stay safe tonight. This is one of these things, and again, this is the nonsensical part of the podcast of the show here. This is kind of an unusual setup for this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see tornadoes, especially here in Arkansas, this time of year for like this. Not saying that there is going to be a tornado. Not saying that there's a tornado warning. there is a tornado watch out there. So we all know what happened on March 31st.
Right.
So keep an eye to the sky. Everybody be safe.
Head on a swivel.
Head on a swivel. All right, MC. So last thing before we get out of here is the Utah Utes head coach comes out, and you actually sent me this image, and he says, you better strap it on when you come to play us. Now, my daughter's watching, so we're not going to go into full context here. But why on God's green earth would you come out and say something like that?
That is. I can tell you what that is. That is a coach with tunnel vision. That there is in his world, there is only one meaning for a phrase. There's not multiple meanings. He's talking. He's talking about putting that helmet on and buckling that chin strap with both. Well, okay, yeah, no, Brad Staten. Yeah.
Okay. That might have just
forget what I said because Brad wins.
That might just be the comment of the night.
Yeah,
that Trevor Kaiser.
I can't top that. I was trying to cover for the dude, but
my head's not in the gutter.
Brad
my 14-year-old's watching, so I'm just calling it like I see it. But all in all, like I said, to wrap things up for the night, we got about 5 minutes left on the show. To wrap things up, I would not be surprised if we saw a completely different offense this year.
Yeah.
I will almost caution you guys to go in with an open mind on that first game because you're not going to see everything that first game. You're not going to see anything. All right.
Right.
You may just see a vanilla offense because it's all due respect to Western Carolina. They're not. I mean,
you shouldn't have to see much.
No.
Arkansas should be able to line up and bulldoze over this opponent. And you could take a junior high offense in Arkansas because of the difference in personnel, the perceived difference in personnel. Arkansas should be able to take a junior high level offense, run rough shot over the Roughnecks, and
is that what they are, Roughnecks?
I believe so. I think that's right.
Which one's the Chanticleers or the Chandeliers?
Oh, that's Coastal Carolina.
Coastal, Eastern, Western, Northern.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, my goodness. All right, next week we're going to dive into the defense, and I'm going to give you a little clue. The defense was not all it was stacked up to be under Barry Odom, and it was not pretty at all the last couple of years, especially last year. Got a new D coordinator, got 2 new D coordinators coming in, co-D coordinators, but your main guy is going to be Travis Williams. And we're going to dive into what to expect from the defensive side of the ball. And defense-wise, got a couple of surprises. Biggest questions I'll have for next week is our linebacking core. Who's going to be our linebackers now that Grant Morgan's gone, Bumper Poole's gone, Drew Sanders, Matt Landers. Drew Sanders is gone.
Drew Sanders, yeah.
There's a lot of questions are there for me. We're going to try to get them all answered within the next week. MC, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Man, we're just, like I said, to kick off the show, we are on the downhill slide now to game 1. We're inside. Saturday will be 3 weeks until game 1, 21 days. So it's getting here, man. And these last 21 days, I think, are going to move by pretty quick.
So we are in week 2 of fall camp. Like I said, as far as fall camp goes, didn't learn much of anything, which I like.
Yeah, kind of playing their cards close to their vest. I like it.
Which is something that Arkansas hasn't done in the last couple of years, so I like it. Right. And then, like I said, we are leading you up to kickoff, and it's going to be a fun one, man. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, follow, get notifications anytime we go live on our YouTube page and on our Facebook page. Make sure you guys check out Hawg Sports. Matt Hart, Adam Hall do a fantastic job over there. And thank you, Brad Staten, Trevor Kaiser, my daughter, Brady Burke, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this week. And we look forward to seeing you guys all again. Same Hawg time, same Hawg channel next week on an all-new episode of Inside the Hawg Pen. For Marcus MC Carlton, I'm Razorback Zach. You've been watching an all-new. We're adding those sound clips, by the way. I am making an effort to find those sound clips and adding them in next week. But you've been watching an all-new episode of Inside the Hawg Pen on the soon new Sideline Radio Network. I swear to God, I'm going to get it right before the first game. That's irritating the hell out of me. I can't get that pissant company out of my mouth. Yeah. Anyway, until next time, so long, everybody.